Welcome to Square One Engineering's Monday Quickie Recap. We are talking about our experiences with this week's article. I hope you enjoy. Our Monday Quickie this week talks about successfully leading with any job title. I think this is a very important topic and something that should be started at any point in your career. So when you move into that leadership role, it's just a lot easier to transition in. Why is this topic important to you?
Well, as we had mentioned in the article, it's something that I've actually had addressed with me. It was my first 3 years of my career. A senior partner had come in and basically pulled me out of my my workstation and said, "Hey, what are you doing?" Yeah. And that was hard to hear at first, but it was amazing feedback because I've actually, from that point, I've used a lot of that advice in order to be able to help me in my career today. Mm-hmm. And a lot of that, I think, is really grounded on we don't do things as a result of our fear. Yeah. That holds us back. And then what we end up doing is, including myself, we justify the reason we don't do things. And in this particular situation, it's, well, I don't have the job title.
Right.
So that's why I'm not leading.
Right. Well, and I do see, to your point, I see people learning these leading skills once they move into the leadership role, which is hindering development for themselves, their employees, where the organization is going. What other factors are really getting into what's holding them back from being a leader in these roles?
It could be the culture of the company. Mm-hmm. Sometimes based on where you work, maybe some companies they're a little bit more closed in terms of how they operate, or the actual leadership group within that company maybe is not as open as one would need to be. So as a result of that, the employees, especially if you're an individual contributor, maybe they don't feel as comfortable putting themselves out on the line and leading without the title.
That's a really good point. Well, what could people do today to start learning these skills now for their future leadership role?
Yeah, Trish, that's a great question. I think if we look back into that article, there were 7 or 8 different items that were outlined as, if you think you want to get into leadership, whether it's with the title or not, you can really do that today by looking at those 8 items. And the first 2, which is, number 1, recognizing your fear. Yeah. The second one is reading a book that's called The Go-Giver. The Go-Giver, we've talked about a lot prior. We've written about it. That book really is the foundation for much of what I believe and what I do, both professionally and personally. Mm-hmm. Between those 2, so again, number 1 being recognizing your fear and understanding it, and then the second one, really reading about what good leadership is through the book called The Go-Giver. Mm-hmm. Those are 2 easy things that we can do and implement rather quickly. And then maybe worry about the other 5 or 6 kind of down the road.
Absolutely. And those 2 things that we can do today is pretty simple to be able to really jump off before you move into that leadership role and really start getting you prepared professionally and personally. So that's some great advice.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, I would, with what I went through and that advice, it did take somebody else to kind of hit me over the head and bring it to my attention. So if you're reading the article or if you're listening to this discussion right now and you're thinking, I know of someone else that's in my office that could be a great leader, but they're just not stepping up, I will openly say that advice really helped me. So this might be an opportunity for you to identify that person and go give them some caring feedback. So,
just like the Go-Giver.
That's right.